What is going on, people? This is your man, Oga Kwame, and welcome to another episode of the Footy Fantasy Podcast. This weekend was a weekend of derbies, and we just finished the London Derby. We had the Manchester Derby yesterday. There were several London derbies this weekend, actually. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. I think there was another one. Was Nottingham Forest involved in the derby, or was it Fulham? I don't remember. Anyway, but we have a panel here. We have Steven, Arsenal fan. What's going on, brother?
Thank you for having me. Very happy Arsenal fan, of course.
So, of course, and I'm sure you will not hesitate to let us know how happy you are. Chelsea fan, one of the OGs. What is going on, my brother?
What's good, man? It was good. I'm happy we got a win. You know, happiness is relative. You gotta take it as it comes.
You have to take your happiness the way it comes. You have no control of it. Oh, we already have a comment. There was only one important derby. Oh, Jesus Christ! I wonder who Facebook user. Okay, yeah. We don't know who you are, bro or sis. But if you do not want the StreamYard platform to have access to your Facebook and stuff, just tell us your name. That way we can respond appropriately. And if we need to troll you, we can troll you properly too. But yes, it was it was a good weekend for some, and not so much for the others. But before we proceed, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel. On YouTube, we're Footy Fantasy. Instagram, we're Fantasy Footy. I think on Twitter, we're Footy Fantasy on Twitter as well. Go ahead and hit like on video and subscribe to the channel if you are new or if you're not yet subscribed. Okay, we know who this is. This is Prince AY. It's Prince AY. Okay, all right. Oh, God. This guy is a menace, but we love you still, bro. Appreciate the comment. There is honestly really only one way to start. Actually, there were competing ways to start, but we'll start with the North London Derby. They just finished. Steven, you're the only Arsenal fan here, and I will give you the time to gloat, right? No, but this is unusual, right? I know you guys are doing well this season, and going into this game, there is no doubt that you guys were probably favorites, but I always relied on the fact that Arsenal usually does not perform well at the Spurs Stadium. What changed today? Were Tottenham just that bad?
No, I think Arsenal are playing well, and they have been playing well all season. And I think people have, since the start of the season when Arsenal won the first couple of games away at Crystal Palace, people have always had things to say like, okay, we'll wait until October. We'll wait until they play one of the big sides. We'll wait until
December, New Year.
Here's another wait until, and it's another wait until that they've just said, okay, we play ball on your pitch and we go home. Like that's this team. It's a good side. It's very balanced. I think we know the squad isn't good enough to maybe go a whole season. If we lose a couple of key players, it's not gonna be good. We know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Arteta's getting the most out of what he has, and I think the players and the system that we play is very hard to play against. We do this to everybody. It doesn't matter who we play right now. Everybody struggles to play out from the back against us. Everybody struggles to keep possession against us. So it's not an accident, right? And I look at the results across the season, and Brighton away is not an easy place. We've won there. Brentford away is not an easy place. We've won there. Like Crystal Palace away is not an easy place. We've won there. Chelsea away, we've won. Tottenham away, we've won. We've beaten Liverpool at home. Okay, people are struggling. There's different things. But I think there's more than enough now in terms of a body of work from this Arsenal team to say they're a good side. So, yeah, will it last? I have no idea. I think we're going to have to get very lucky with injuries, specifically if we don't add a couple of bodies in the next couple of weeks. But, I mean, the team is playing really well. And when we got that first 11 out, we're a really difficult side to play against.
Yeah. Yeah, we see Arsenal. Look, we've seen Arsenal over the years, and you yourself, you're not a stranger to Arsenal doing Arsenal things, right? Um, has I'm not sure where. I remember one podcast where you, myself, and I think it was EJ were talking about Mikel Arteta, right? And how you were actually defending him, and you know how I like to, you know me and coaches. Um, but what did you see back then from Arteta that made you actually call that? Because that was a few months back. That was before this brilliance.
There was a plan, right? So you don't know whether the plan is going to work or not, but he was trying to do the right thing. So he came in, he said, hey, I need the players to be closer to the fans. I need the club to be more connected. I want to play a certain way. We're going to go and try and dominate games and be on the front foot. Yeah, it's all nice words. You got to go and do it at the end of the day. But in his first year, he comes in, he gets together, we go and win an FA Cup. That's buying you time. And the way we did that was not the way we're doing now, right? So he used the parts he had. He got us to a certain level. He won an FA Cup. Next season, he was trying to be very deliberate and play the way that we're playing now, but he didn't have the players for it, right? So we were getting beaten. Like that. I'll give you an example. That Newcastle game at home that we drew the other day, and everybody goes, oh, look, Arsenal dropped points at home against Newcastle. We would have lost that game 2 years ago. We would have dominated the game same way we played, and we would have gotten done on a set piece or a breakaway or something would have happened, and we'd have lost the game. Even the game today, I was waiting for Spurs to get an equalizer at some point, or not an equalizer, but a goal back, and then to see how we would respond. But again, the team is maturing. There's dark arts there, buying a foul, diving in the corner a little bit. These are things that Arsenal wouldn't do, which everybody else around us would do to us. So I just think the team is maturing, and I think Arteta as a manager, he doesn't care whether people like him or not outside of the club. Like he's just trying to instill his values. He wants the club to play a certain way, and it's coming around with the group of players that he has. He needs more for me to be very consistent with it. I don't think he has enough. I still don't think he has enough because again, if you lose Odegaard, if you lose Partey in this team, there is no cover for that. So I think he's doing a really good job, and he's just doing what he said he was going to do when he came in. The fans are closer to the team and the players than they've ever been. The players they're playing as a team. The way we play is Arsenal because we're trying to attack people. It doesn't matter whether we're home and away. We're trying to win games, right? So I just think he's just doing what he said he was going to do, and I think he earned the time with me with the FA Cup, and I think he also earned the time with me with just the things he was trying to bring to the club because the club was very divided. Whether it be the playing staff, the fan base, there was just always things around Arsenal that people could troll us about. And we were almost it's very difficult right now to get in between the fans. Yeah. Which you could have easily done a year and a half ago to Arsenal fans. There's always a faction. Like even this Mudryk thing, it happened. There's people who are upset and there are people like, okay, we get on with it. But it's not going to go on for weeks and weeks on end. I think it's done. It's happened. People are going to move on.
Yeah. So that what made you back? What did you see back then that made you feel like, you know what? If you were an Arsenal fan, you would have stuck with Arteta. Even as a Chelsea fan, you still believed in him then. And I knew you weren't trolling. You're the king of trolling, but you were not trolling then.
No, I think the thing for me was
I wanted Dada to answer the question because from an outsider coming in, because Dada's always been this guy who defended Arteta, and I just wanted to, as a Chelsea fan, I wanted to see what he thought about this process from 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, man, I think the thing with me that I saw about Arsenal was, especially this season, right? So when this season started, I said to a lot of Chelsea fans after Arsenal beat us 4-0 in the friendly, I said to a lot of Chelsea fans in the forum, I said, one, Arsenal is going to finish above Chelsea this season. I said, two, Arsenal is going to push for the title this season. And after game 3, game 4, I told a lot of folks that Arsenal was going to win the league. And yes, why? So with a lot of teams, you see sort of like this progress where they kind of just they make a little bit of progress, right? And they just build on it. And since Arteta came, you can always see the progress with Arsenal, right? And like if you really look at that team, they would go through this like the string of really good performance, right? And then they'll tumble for like maybe 6, 7 games and they'll catch themselves again. But in the games that they struggled, it was because either a player was injured or a key player was out of form. You always saw that. And it was just consistent season after season. When Arteta won FA Cup against a good Chelsea side, the first game they lost against us, no, Europa wasn't Arteta, was it? Yeah, Europa was Arteta, right?
That was Emery.
That was Emery, right? But if you look at the FA Cup against us, the one that game, like, hands down, and they were not the better team at that time on paper. It was Chelsea. And if you look at last season or 2 seasons ago when they didn't finish 4th, they didn't get close, but you sort of saw like the progress. Now, if you look at last season, for example, Arsenal would have finished 4th. The reason why they didn't finish was because Partey got injured. Mm-hmm. That was the only reason, but people don't know that. The moment Partey got injured, that team just fell apart. Mm-hmm. But you can see glimpses of progress with Odegaard, and you can see Saka kind of coming into fold, right? But the thing with Arsenal is the moment they lose 1 or 2 key players, the performance drop from 90% to like 60. So there was this huge gap in performance when they lose their key players. But look at what they did this season. They signed Shevchenko, they signed Jesus. Odegaard is more of a mature player. Saka is really coming into fold. Partey is solid. They got Saliba. All the pieces they need was finally there. And when they played Chelsea during the preseason, I remember everyone saying, "Oh, you always discount preseason." But here's what preseason tells you: it tells you the preparedness of a team. That's what it tells you. It doesn't tell you this is a finished product. It doesn't tell you, "Oh, here's a team that will win the league." It will tell you how prepared they were, and they looked like they were 6 months ahead of Chelsea. It looked like, man, this team has been practicing, developing themselves for 6 months, and we needed 6 months to catch up. And I told the Chelsea fans, I'm like, even though it's 4-0 and it's a friendly, yeah, this team is 6 months ahead of us. And they carried that form from last season into the league, and you just saw it. So all the pieces was always there with Arteta. It was just a matter of just being patient, and they needed to plug some holes. So for me, and folks didn't take me serious because, yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I remember the beginning of the season, I said, man, if this team, if they don't win the league, they're going to push for the title really, really hard. And that's what we're seeing, right? It's just, and one thing that Arteta always did, to your point, was every game they won or lose, he will put his arm around them, they will go clap to the fans. Like there was this energy they were building. And another smart thing they did was they got rid of dead weight. They got rid of Aubameyang. They got rid of Lacazette. Even the way he handled the Ozil situation earlier on, right? So all you're doing is you're removing toxic players from your club. You're like, you know what, screw it. Even though, you're really good, you're talented, people always underestimate the value of transferring out crappy players. Everybody always plays transfer in. Oh, you brought in good players. Yes. But how about when you transfer out a crappy signing? Because what folks don't know is for every one bad signing, it takes you 2-3 seasons to fix the issue. Because first you got to lose out on money, and then you got to like rebuild the team chemistry. And they did that slowly over 3 seasons. And you're just in a product of that. So, I mean, it was obvious to some folks in the forum. And for me, as an outsider, I kept on watching. I was like, oh, yeah, I see what these folks are doing. And I mean, they're reaping the benefits now. Good for them.
Let me take some comments real quick. I have a follow-up question for you, Stephen, but let me just take some comments real quick. Prince AY says, Kwame, you're asking what changed? Well, I think it's a combination of desire and a changed mentality. That's for sure. Like I've not seen Arsenal this mentally strong for about a decade now, quite frankly. Henry goes, oh, those are huge and bold statements, but totally understandable. Henry again, we finally have a competent 4. Partey is Arsenal. If anything happens to him, Arsenal is toast. So keep praying nothing happens to him. Henry is agreeing with Dada over there. And Henry, again, he built camaraderie with the team. Before I go to you, Stephen, okay, welcome to the podcast. Hope you're doing well. Are you on? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, okay is a United fan. But Stephen, I wanted to come back to you. We at the beginning of the season, a lot of us, myself included, because I was looking from the outside, I attributed a huge success behind the way Arsenal was playing football. I ascribe that to the presence of Gabriel Jesus, right? And I remember there was a period between around before the World Cup when Arsenal fans were kind of talking about who's more important to the team, Thomas Partey versus Gabriel Jesus. And I mean, even though I was not an Arsenal fan, I belong to the school of thought that said, you know what, Gabriel Jesus brings more to the team. And the reason I said that was because, look, Partey had been a part of the team before Jesus even came. And with the intensity with which Jesus pressed, the intensity with which he also came deep, I just thought that contributed in a huge way to the way Arsenal played and the kind of success they've had. Man is injured, and he's been injured for some time. And I'm not going to lie to you, Eddie Nketiah, I was not looking at him like a serious footballer. Did he suddenly become good? Like, what is Arteta feeding this guy?
No, it's a style of play. So the players fit the style of play. And he wanted to keep Nketiah because Nketiah is a pressing forward. Like, he has the capacity to do the pressing. He's not going to do the same type of things that Jesus. He's not going to take a ball out of the sky and beat 5 players and put ball in the top corner. That's not Nketiah. But Nketiah he's a finisher to some extent. He's going to be able to track and trace people down. And he's proven he can score goals. So you get Eddie Nketiah a decent amount of chances. He might not take every single one, but neither did Jesus, to be honest. Right? So long as he's doing the right role for the team in terms of occupying the defenders, picking up the right spaces, making the right runs, that's what he's going to do. I think the thing with this Arsenal team, it's not just Partey, right? There's 2 players, I would say. Partey's one, Zinchenko's one, and Odegaard is the other. Those 3 players make the team go.
Would you add Saka to the mix? Would you add Saka?
Not necessarily. I think Xhaka is the mentality or the let's say he's the strength.
No, not Xhaka. Saka,
the Nigerian boy. Yeah.
Saka's a key player. But what I'm saying is, I think in terms of how we play, in terms of the style that we play with, to dominate the ball and to move the ball the way that we do, those 3 players are central to it. I think everybody else is almost a little bit interchangeable. So if Saka was out for a period of time, making, heaven forbid, you could put Jesus on a right wing and put Nketiah through the middle. You can put Smith Rowe. You can move the other guys around and you still get an output. It's not going to be the same as Saka because Saka is a very unique type of player. But I think the pieces work. If Zinchenko goes out, Tierney can't do what Zinchenko does. If Partey goes out, El Neni can't do what Partey does. And Odegaard, Vieira has talent, but he doesn't have the capacity physically to kind of move around the park the way that Odegaard does. So those 3 players are really the ones that are central to how we play.
Right. So let me. I want to ask a question more specifically to this game. And okay, I'm going to come to you on this. Did you watch the Tottenham Arsenal game, right?
I watched the second half, part of the second half. Yeah.
Okay. What I mean, by the time they got to the second half, I think the game was already 2-0, right?
Yeah.
What is wrong with Spurs?
I think that Spurs are Spurs. Spurs are Spursy as fans. I think that Spurs are a bit like Arsenal in a way. If they get on a run, then they're kind of hard to stop. But I think Spurs right now have too many players that maybe are not on the level of players they've had previously. So when I say that, I say, okay, look at their back 3. How about those back 3s would have got into the Pochettino back the defense, 4 or 5 years ago with Alderweireld and Vertonghen and Rose, and I think Walker had left by then. But
Yeah.
I think Trippier was on the right, wasn't he, or something? I think they, you know, I don't think that. I think that Spurs have just become a very. They've got a good manager. I still rate Conte as a good manager, but I think they have just become a bit too dependent on Kane. And Son is not the same player he was. He doesn't look like the same player as last year. And yeah, I think Spurs are just going through a difficult time at the moment. At the moment, I think they'll be back. Spurs is actually my dad's team, but I kind of worry for them at the moment. I really do. Now, I want to just speak about Arsenal a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I think that I don't think Arsenal win the league. I actually think Arsenal probably finish third.
Okay.
Even from when they are.
Why do y'all keep saying that?
Let them.
No. Okay. No. Sir, Okay, go ahead.
I think that if you look, when it comes, people forget. You know what Ferguson coined squeaky bum time. We're not even halfway through the season yet. When squeaky bum time comes, and you know you have to go to a Fulham away on a Tuesday, knowing that City or United have just won on the Saturday, and you know that they're a point behind, and you have to win that game. How many of us here can trust Arsenal to go and get that result? Because it will come down to those small things.
Bro, they literally did that today.
But okay, so
they're just one as
no, we're not even halfway through the season yet. We're not even halfway through for Arsenal.
But again,
I'm talking about when there's 10 games left.
It's a fair challenge because we haven't done it before.
Yeah.
It's a fair challenge to say we haven't done it before, right?
But Man United haven't done it before. But I will say that this Man United team, if Man United are neck and neck with Arsenal or City, and United have to go and play a Leeds away, I'm not saying as a United fan, but I will say that United will go there and will professionally get the job done, and they will. I'm confident that Ten Hag will put out the right team to win that game, and United players have enough players of that mentality, have enough.
No, they don't. Who on the United team has won the league before?
But I think
no. Won the Premier League, Premier League just there. But who has won World Cups and Champions Leagues? That's the thing. Look at Casemiro's won 5 Champions Leagues.
He's just joined y'all.
But he still has
he was the one that brought the mentality to all the players.
Wait, it's the same way Cantona came and changed United. Cantona never won the league before in England, right? Well, he came. No, he won the league at Leeds. He won the league with Leeds in '92, and came and showed the United players how to win the league.
I'm sorry. I don't think United has any more experienced winners on their team than Arsenal does. No offense to y'all too.
But who are the Arsenal?
I mean, maybe Chelsea got winners.
won 5. Zinchenko's won 5. Party's won a league before.
But was Zinchenko a starting player at City?
Go back and look at the last game of the season where City had to come from behind to win the title.
During the whole season, was he starting or was it Mendy?
No. Look who plays when City was down the stretch and they had to win games. Look who was involved in those games. Those guys were central to those games. Last year, last game of the season, they were losing the title. Zinchenko won them the league.
Why did okay? So if they were so central, why did Pep agree to sell them? Because he won't sell KDB.
No,
please, no.
He wanted to go in a different direction. You have the chance to sign a generational talent in Haaland.
Yeah.
And he's 25, 26. So you had a guy, he's won 4 or 5 league titles with you. He wants to play regularly. You know that's going to be a trouble in your dressing room. You say, you know what? We're going to go with a generational talent. These guys have done really well for me. I'm going to move them on. That's what he did.
Okay, so why move on from Zinchenko?
Because again, Cancelo is a starting midfielder, right?
Yeah.
So is his inverted defender is Cancelo. I guarantee you now, he wish he had Zinchenko instead of having to move Cancelo all over the damn place.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That is a fair point.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see.
Sorry if I may, guys. If I may, I just feel like we've been saying this whole Arsenal cannot win the league since the beginning of the season.
The league's not halfway done, though. We're not even halfway through this. Whether we're halfway or we're not, my point is this, though. When a team is showing league winning form, you have mentality. As things sit right now, Arsenal has the highest probability of winning the league.
I agree with the fact that we haven't got the experience of doing it, right? Because we've not done it before in the last 10 years, 15 years. Arsenal haven't been in this position, right? So I think it's a fair thing for people to say, when it gets to the end of the season and it becomes a challenge, etc., can Arsenal cope? Fine. But when you say, can they win away at you were waiting for us to throw the games away in October. Yeah. You were waiting for us to lose away at Brighton. You were waiting for us to play well.
Arsenal always play well. We know this already. Arsenal always play well when the sun is shining.
That's rubbish. You were waiting. I know you were waiting for that Brighton away game.
Let me take comments real quick.
The World Cup came, so that eliminates the winter dip in form that Arsenal have. So that winter dip in form is going to come in, let's say, end of Jan, early Feb, because it usually comes in November, December, right? So the World Cup came, so it shifts everything back a month. So let's wait a few.
All right. Let me take comments. Henry, again, I told you guys it wasn't Jesus, it was Partey. I made that comment here because when Partey got injured, it was clear that when Partey got injured, it's clear what led to our demise. True, I remember. Yeah, that is true. I think some Arsenal fans still believe that United beat Arsenal only because Partey was absent.
It was true.
I don't know how true that is, but
two mistakes in midfield by Laconda and they scored.
Yeah, now he just fits into the system, Henry, but Arsenal needs depth in that attack big time. But there's nobody to replace Partey in Arsenal. Prince AY, with Eddie, he is a confidence player. One thing I admire about Eddie is that he embraces the challenge and backs himself. If we're talking about pure finishing, Eddie is clinical in front of goal. Eddie's a player that has not been given a lengthy run in the team. That is fair. If Eddie was Brazilian or some South American, he'd be given more credit for his contribution to the team.
That's a corny ass.
I don't know about that. Vinicius at Fulham is South American. The man.
That's a corny ass profile picture, by the way.
I know, right? But the fact that he's been around for so long is one of the reasons why he's not been appreciated as much. Henry, again, clinical. I don't think we can use clinical in the same sentence as Eddie, a hard worker and confident. Absolutely clinical, absolutely not. Henry's not feeling Eddie. Facebook user. I don't know who this is. The problem of Spurs is Conte. He's a terrible manager. He's only man. This guy sounds like me with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Terrible.
He's a terrible manager. His only tactic is to prop the bus and hope for the counter. You can win a few top games, but that mentality will struggle in the EPL. See all these coaches with similar haram football ideology. Mourinho, Simeone, Conte are trending downwards. Yo, Facebook user, tell us who you are. That way we can probably identify and address that
comment up.
Yeah. We need you to come back this coming up. We need you to come speak with chest. Prince AY, Mr. OK, are you just being a hater? Or are you hoping we fall off because you're speaking bollocks? It's match day week 18, please. Listen, Prince, if anybody knows Prince AY, man is always, okay, guy has a legitimate point, but I concur with him for a different reason. Arsenal are one or two key injuries away from imploding. We lack depth. Again, if Partey goes downward, Arsenal is toast. Matrick 18. Let me also just there. Hold on. There are a few more. There are a lot of those comments are flying in. Let me just get through them. Matrick 18, 8 points clear, and you're saying would finish third. If not, you're on TV at a photo total. Henry goes, otherwise, this particular Arsenal is a different team in terms of mentality and poise. Barring injury and depth, they have the mentality to win right now. Facebook user, oh, this is Ola. Oh, wow. Arsenal and Man United have generated the momentum in title winning seasons. Momentum is a key thing, especially around this time of the season. Ola. Prince AY goes, yes, we are 1 or 2 injuries away, but guess what? There's no injury now, so where is this coming from? Mr. Okay, you're definitely wallowing below the denial curve. Facebook user goes, big credit to Arteta, though. Jesus' injury has proved not to be an issue at all. People are mocking Nketiah, giving props. Allah again. Hugo Lloris has a glitch on the first goal. Guy thought he was playing dodgeball. Okay. Okay, you're gonna make one last point.
Yeah, I think. Look, props to Arsenal. They're doing well so far. I just don't see it. I just don't. I get that they're top. I get that they're 8 points clear, but I just haven't seen the wow result. You know, the result that makes you think, okay,
you don't need wow results to win the league.
Wait.
No. Let him finish. What would be? I want when you finish, tell me what you would qualify as a wow result.
Going to Old Trafford and beating United. Maybe go to Old Trafford. Maybe next Sunday, doing to United what City did to United in, what was it, September.
So we're going to beat you by 6 for you to feel good.
Beat United by 3 or 4.
Okay. Can I say something, please? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what you need to win the league?
After your point, Dada, we got to move on to the next topic.
Okay, can I just tell you what you need to win the league, guys? I don't know if you forgot.
Consistency.
You just need... No, not even consistency, bro. Not consistency. Nah, this is going to blow your mind. I'm about to drop this on you. It's going to blow your mind. You just need to win more points than everybody else. So if you literally win all your game 1-0, and another thing is beating one team 10-0, then nobody care, bro. All you got to do is just win. And that's what this team is doing. They're winning games, bro. Games that they had no business winning like many years ago.
Yeah, one thing before I move on to the next up, one thing that I listen. Okay, I'm there with you, right? Well, I was there with you up until we took a break for the World Cup, and I was like, nah, this team is just, they're catfishing. They're catfish, you see that little fine thing with makeup, and then you take her swimming. That's what I thought Arsenal was. But every single time that Arsenal has needed to capitalize, right, on a rival team's draw or loss, they've done it this season.
But that's because of motivation. Let me finish.
To your point about the lack of experience in winning the league, at this point, with the kind of gap they have, the only experience they need, right, is to continue to have the mentality they've built with this coach over the last year or so. And I just don't see the one thing I've always been able to rely on in the last decade is that Arsenal will be mentally weak, right? Even forget the having players that have tech, forget having goal scorers, I've always been able to rely on Arsenal being mentally weak. I'm not seeing that. And that's a big problem for us.
Just before we move on, let me just point something out. So Arsenal's next fixtures, right, are United away, and then City in the FA Cup 5 days after that. Then they have Everton away, Brentford away, City at home, Villa away, Leicester away, and that takes them to the end of Feb. If Arsenal come through those games and have a 3-point buffer greater than, let me say, they also come through those games and have greater than a 3-point buffer, then yeah, I'll be sold on Arsenal winning in the league. If Arsenal come through those games and have less than a 3-point buffer, they ain't really nothing.
Okay, more comments. Prince AY, Mr. Okay, the denial phase. This is a phase during which one puts a temporary defense mechanism and takes time to proceed. The process certain disturbing news a reality. This Arsenal team is real.
I just want to correct a point as well. Like you said, Brentford away. We beat Brentford away already. We're playing Brentford at home.
Yeah.
Arsenal is more disciplined. Shaka isn't picking up red cards, and he's looking like the best thing since sliced bread.
Like when teams are playing well, when teams are playing well, Shaka won't pick up the red card. When those games are not going to start coming back to back, and it's big team after big team after big team, and the pressure is on.
Ifs and buts, like we're halfway through the season. We've played everybody. Just say that 19 games, you played everybody in the league.
Yeah.
So
another comment, Prince, say why you need a wow result. We have only dropped 5 points all season, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. You're not being objective at all. You just keep moving the goalpost. Ov is usually a level-headed Arsenal fan. Okay, you are wrong with the schedule. United is home, Brentford is home.
Yeah, okay.
Prince, why we can win the next 10 games.
There we go.
Win the league.
Bookmark this.
Yeah. We say okay. What? no. Ov. Okay, he's a United fan. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the Manchester Derby. Okay. Since we're still on you, why don't you go ahead and tell me how? First of all, let's just talk about the big point, right?
Offside.
How do you defend?
Before you start,
offside.
That's what a big result looks like.
Say that again. Okay.
Before you start, that's what a big result looks like. When I say a big result, I mean looking at one of your rivals being down 1-0 and winning a game.
Okay.
Next question, please.
But
can I ask a question?
But okay. I know. Look at all their hands. They're asking, was it enough? What should that goal have stood? How do you defend that as a United fan?
Quick question for OK. How many points do you get for big results?
It's the intangibles. It's intangible. But anyway, was it offside? No, it was all offside because you're always taught play to the whistle. In the age of VAR now,
there's no playing to the whistle when the man's behind your defense running in on goal.
No, there is. In the age of
play to the whistle, he's offside. He's behind your defense. He's running in on goal. The two of them were in front of the goalkeeper. If he wasn't in front of the goalkeeper, I say no. It's fine. The call was the right call.
Was it last season that goal was scored against? Was it against Leeds? Remember? And everybody had completely stopped. And the guy just went.
What happened in this instance, though? He was behind the defense. He was running through on goal.
Well, who scored the goal?
No. You know what I'm saying? If he was behind the defense and he wasn't in the front of the goal, when the guy took the shot, when Fernandes took the shot, Rashford was right there. Like he literally took the ball off of Rashford's foot to shoot. That is offside because he's in the line of the goalkeeper. What's Ederson supposed to do there? I don't care because it's a great result for Arsenal. I'm happy that these things are happening around Arsenal. I could care less. But what I'm saying is, in that instance, if that had happened against Arsenal, if that had happened to United, was it offside? For me, the referee screwed up. It was offside.
But the referee has to follow the law, right? And
that's not the law. They made the wrong interpretation because he was interfering with play.
But if he was interfering with play, did he? Ederson had a clear line of the ball.
He didn't. When he took the shot, the two of them were in front of Ederson.
There was nobody between Ederson and the ball.
No, Rashford was there. So if you're Ederson and Rashford
was Rashford between Ederson and the ball? No.
Rashford and Fernandes were both coming onto a ball that was going towards Ederson. They were both approaching the ball. Any of them could have shot. They both got there at the same time.
Okay, well, I hear you, Steven, and I'm going to comment here as a United fan. I think when I saw that, I'm not in real time. I saw that and I expected the goal to be disallowed because of all my years of watching football, and of all this, with everything we've seen, that is offside. When I heard the PGMOL come out and explain that there's been a change in the rule, and the way they interpreted the rule was this: it was twofold. One, Rashford was offside. There's no question about that. But they're saying, one, he did not touch the ball. Two, he did not interfere with the play. The interference is the issue, right? So I guess the issue is this. Did he interfere with Manuel Akanji's ability to get to the ball, or Kyle Walker's ability to get to the ball, or Ederson's posture, defensive posture? My answer to that is a resounding no. This is why Manuel Akanji kept running. Manuel Akanji kept running, and he kept trying to defend. You're on mute, Steven, but let me finish my point. Manuel Akanji kept running. He kept his defensive posture. That's one. Two. Ederson, it had no impact on Ederson's decision making in terms of whether he had to come out for the ball. Look, Ederson, if anybody saying that Ederson would have come out for the ball or would have stayed behind or whatever, Bruno Fernandes was running through. So Bruno Fernandes was also impacting Ederson's decision on whether to on how to approach this, this defensive conundrum. Same thing with Kyle Walker. So the fact is this: if you're saying, if people are saying that Rashford interfered with play, well then Bruno also interfered with play, but who was not offside. So that's the point. If they didn't have Rashford to deal with, they had Bruno Fernandes to deal with, and that's why I would have been pissed off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have been pissed off if it was against my team. But
I'm asking.
If you're asking me to defend it as a United fan, that is how I'm gonna defend it.
I'm not asking to defend it. I'm saying, was it offside? Yes or no? It doesn't change the result for us to say whether we think it was offside or not. All the rest is us trying to validate the decision the same way the PGMOL was trying to validate the decision.
Hey, look, listen. It benefited me, so it's not offside.
What I also say is that Rashford had every right to run through as well, because once Fernandes touches the ball, let's say Fernandes took a touch, we're now into the second phase of play. And Fernandes could have squared to Rashford, who could have then tapped it in. So Rashford isn't under any obligation to just stop running because there's phases of play, right?
He ran over the ball. That's what I'm saying. If Rashford wasn't in front of he was literally, if you look, he was staring down the line in the penalty spot. The two of them, that's where the shot was taken. It was central to the goal. The two of them were next to each other, facing the goalkeeper. I've played in goal. Trust me, if there's two guys there and they can either one of them take the shot, you can't decide you're diving left or right because they're both, one's coming in on his left foot, one's coming in on his right foot. You're stuck. You're just looking at the two of them.
Ederson is smart enough to know that Rashford has let it run across his body, right? Rashford is not left-footed.
Rashford was receiving that ball until Fernandes literally took the ball off Rashford's foot.
No, Rashford and Fernandes literally yelled at Rashford to stop.
Exactly.
Let me take some comments. Real quick. I think this is all I goes. Big result and still behind. The linesman should have raised the flag immediately. Steven Sanchez scored a similar goal in the past for Arsenal against Chelsea. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Henry.
The offside goal, I think.
Steven Sanchez? Who's Steven Sanchez?
I think it's
Sanchez. So.
Steven. Oh, yes. Okay. Got it. Okay. I think I actually remember that goal. I hate the rule, and I think FA needs to clear up because they are inconsistent. Bruh, it's not the first thing they've been inconsistent on, but I do agree with that. That is right on our 3 points. Big result or no big result, and even at that, Arsenal have beaten Spurs twice, beaten Liverpool and Chelsea. Those are big results. That is facts. Beat Spurs home and away, beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea, beat Brentford, away where United, you Liverpool and Spurs have all dropped points and you're still looking for a wild result. Mr. Okay, you are capping. Okay, they are coming for you, bro. He's going to come in. Henry, that part of the interference is the annoying subjective part. It is a very subjective part. That is a very subjective part. That is always going to be open to interpretation. For the Bruno goal, technically, according to the rule, there was no interfering with play by Rashford. The officials got that right. The only reason people disagree with it is because the situation defies common sense. But football rules and common sense usually do not go hand in hand. Hola. Was Rashford not covering the ball? Friends say, right, Kwame, the goal is subject to interpretation. I think the goal should stand. I believe that Akanji was at fault for the goal. I believe that if Akanji had tried to tackle Rashford, it would have been off. These comments are flying in. Henry goes going to be open to interpretation, but Bruno wasn't on the direct line, though. I don't know what that means. Prince White goes, I watched it over and over again. Akanji took a step forward and then started chasing. At this point, it was already too late to chase him. Now it's not about being smart enough. Alexis Sanchez. Oh, yeah. Linesman raised the flag, though, but ref overruled it. Facebook user, Rashford interfered with the ball. He chased it 20 yards. How do you chase the ball for 20 yards? Even fainter shot before Bruno's shot.
I've just watched the Sanchez goals, FA Cup final against Chelsea, the first goal, where he ran through and the guy was literally shielded the ball and just let it go, and Sanchez ran through from deep and scored.
Yeah. Well, let me answer this Facebook user's question. Why will Akanji chase after and tackle a player who is offside? But Facebook user, the point is Akanji did. He did chase the player, and that means that means Rashford's positioning did not have an impact on Akanji's decision making. That is the point. Akanji chased the player. I mean, it's not our fault that Rashford is quick, huh?
He's got no choice but to chase the player. The guys behind, two guys are coming. One's behind him. One's coming in on goal. Mm-hmm. The referee, the linesman's put the flag up. You see the entire back four put their hands up, right? Offside. Then they have to respond. To your point, you play to the whistle because again they might overturn offside on VAR, so they have to play to the whistle until the play goes dead. So me, as I said, I don't care. I'm very happy that the result went the way that it went. But if that happened to Arsenal, I'd be on here and I'd be pissed.
Listen, big man, if that happened to me too, I'd be going crazy. But let's talk. Okay, we've beaten this horse dead. I had this conversation with my brother yesterday, and he doesn't even support Man United. He supports AC Milan, and he was like, "Bruh, that goal should not have stood." And we spent more than 30 minutes arguing this point, but we will never agree. Now, let's talk about the actual game itself, right? Again, Dada as an outsider, what you saw that game, and this is the same United that got whooped 6-1. I say 6-1 even though it's 6-3 because in my head it was 6-1. I don't care. We got whooped embarrassingly, and 4 months later, 4 or 5 months later, we're going to face the same manager, the same Manchester City team, the same Haaland, the same De Bruyne, all these people. What were you expecting, Dada? How much did you think United was going to lose?
So actually, to be fair to you, I didn't think United was going to lose by a long shot. I thought the game would probably end 1-0, 2-0, or maybe 2-1. United has been picking form, and credit to what Ten Hag is doing. Has really changed the team around to where, dare I say it, United is now a title challenger. I don't know if that's what y'all want to hear, but it is what it is, right? I mean, you guys were 5 points or 3 points away from City. How many points away?
Well, 1 point behind City right now.
There you go. I mean, if you're 1 point away, the title favorite, that automatically makes you a title challenger, right? So I will say one thing about City this year. I don't know what it is. City is just not the same. And it's such a cliche. Everyone says it because it's a team that we always expect their downfall. But there's something about them. And the reason why I think City might not win the league, and sorry to go back to this whole Arsenal thing, is, and this also speaks to their performances, when push comes to shove, you have to focus on one thing. And it always happens to a lot of teams, especially when you don't have that gap that you need. So in the past, City typically has an 8-point lead, 9-point lead at this part of the season. They're typically sitting in the Arsenal position. And when they go to Champions League, Pep has the luxury to rest players and move things around. Mm-hmm. But now we've seen the reverse, where actually City are now 8 points behind the league leaders. And now, City, Pep is really, really focused on winning Champions League. That's, I think, for him, is going to prioritize Champions League over the league. So I think that's going to be City's downfall this season. It's just going to be, 8 points lead. It might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. 8 points is a lot.
And especially, no, sorry, go ahead. And one quick point I was going to make is this. If United get 3 points ahead of City, what's going to then happen is City and United are not going to be in a rush. They're going to be in that old Liverpool kind of back and forth. And Arsenal might run with it, or they might pull Arsenal down. And then the league becomes a three horse race. Because what's going to happen is when Champions League starts back up, if my man can only start Ireland, no matter how good Ireland is, yeah, about to be scoring 5 goals on Monday, scoring 6 goals on Wednesday, right? You got to pick one. So when that time comes, it's going to favor Champions League. So coming to your question, man, United is on really good form. All the players are firing. I was one of those people that underestimated the impact of Casemiro, just to be honest. Maybe because I don't watch the Spanish league a lot. I didn't think it was going to come in and really, really make that seem good. But going back to what Arsenal did, guess what y'all did that made a lot of sense? You guys got rid of Ronaldo. Once again, people underestimate the power of getting rid of dead wood players that are toxic. Because not only do they mess up your performance on the pitch, they also mess up your dressing room. Like football is like pure mental. Like Ronaldo was a burden on the team because guess what? If Ronaldo was on the team and didn't play, y'all won, guess what we'll be talking about?
Ronaldo on the bench.
Oh, why did you bench Ronaldo? Oh, why did Ronaldo slap the referee? Oh, why did Ronaldo post this on Instagram? But guess what? Y'all don't have to talk about that. Rashford can go feed some hungry ass kids, come on Sunday, bang some goals. And you know what I'm saying? Life is good. So yeah, man, like kudos to United, man. It's a good performance.
Okay. Let me put it this way. I think City with Haaland, I'm going to say this because I was listening to BBC 606 phoning, and a City fan came on and made this point, and I agreed with it. City have made the mistake that 2 teams who dominated have made. United did the 3-peat. And what did United do after they won the 3-peat? They went and bought Van Nistelrooy. Right? Chelsea, when they had won two in a row, they went and bought Shevchenko. City have won two in a row and gone and bought Haaland. Can you see the almost like the common thread here is that these teams have dominated, have now said, okay, they want to go to the next level, win the Champions League. So let them now go and buy the best number 9 out there. And by doing that, they've kind of messed up. I won't say they've messed up because Haaland scores a lot of goals and City are still a point clear of United, right? But I think that distribution of goals and just the overall chemistry of the team. I'm not saying Haaland is bad for the chemistry of the team. No, he seems like he seems like he's really well liked or whatever in the dressing room. He doesn't look like a diva. And neither was Van Nistelrooy when he joined, or Shevchenko for Chelsea. But I think there's something that changes fundamentally, that the team needs a period of adjustment, and that is City's this year. So Haaland may score 100 goals this season, but I don't think City will win the league because they have fundamentally changed how they play to bring in just a number 9 whose job it is just to be that fox in the box, that guy that just runs to and finishes every chance.
Let me take some comments. When challenging for no title, we are rebuilding. Facebook user, hope you talk about Newcastle United above Manchester United, best defense in the league, only 2 goals in the last. And you know what, man like Raji, I did hope for Newcastle to drop points today, bro, but you guys did not. And I was looking at the table the other day, and it shocked me. I was shocked. How is it possible that Newcastle United have the best defense in the league? How is it possible that Manchester City, that Liverpool, even Arsenal league leaders are conceding, and Newcastle has the best defense by a distance. I think they've conceded maybe almost 7 fewer goals than the next best defense. That's a lot of goals for a team that is Newcastle United. A team that has Fabian Schär, Dan Burn in defense. Big up to all those guys, but nobody would have called it when the season started. But look,
good recruitment. Like Botman's a good player.
Botman is a good, yeah. And Eddie Howe is low key, a good structure manager. I mean, how he's gotten Joe Linton to be a footballer again, I will never get it.
And in terms of the goals conceded, they've conceded 3 more than Arsenal have conceded only 3 more than them. Huh?
Only 3 more than them? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Dyer goes, interfering with the ball isn't the wording of the rules. That only comes to play if he actually touched the ball or attempted a shot, which he never did. What the rules specify as interference is if Rashford blocked the running lanes of any opponent or ran across the line of sight of an opponent or a goalkeeper. He did neither of those things, so technically he was not interfering. Dada, thank you very much for making my point. It's people forgetting it's the same city that can do 18 straight wins.
They can.
Prince Edward is like, okay, City won't win the league, Arsenal won't win the league. So which is it? You're just one of the place because struggle.
No, that's very simple. That's very simple. If I say City won't win the league and Arsenal win the league, there's one team then that's going to win the league.
Oh my God. Okay, please don't do it. Okay, please don't do it. Don't. I'm not even going to broach that topic. No.
Newcastle.
Sorry, getting here kind of late, but here now for the rest of the show. Benvino, shout out Benvino. Thanks for joining us. The comment about Haaland affecting City is basically seeking for someone to blame. City has conceded 18 goals in 18 games. Ake and Akanji are past at their most used center-back pairings. Diaz and Laporte are out for long. For emphasis, City conceded 26 goals in all of last season's 38 games. Blaming Haaland when the defense is leaking is mad.
And they also
United dream. They are never smelling top 2. There was a question up here that I want to go back to. Somebody asked this: why are you talking like Oli does not beat the same City in the past?
It was different.
I don't know who you are, but because
it was different.
Listen, for anybody who knows me, right? When I hear the name Oli, I get triggered. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why this is different from Oli beating Manchester City.
Why did you get triggered by Oli?
Because he's the worst thing that ever happened to Manchester United in the last decade. But let me tell, and like just as I wish we had never had that night in Paris. Otherwise, we would not have been played for 3 years with 3 years of Oli. But let me explain why this is different. Because in the past, Oli would beat Manchester City maybe 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is. But then Manchester City would have like 6, 7, 8 clear-cut chances, right? De Gea would be the man of the match, right? Yesterday, David De Gea was not the man of the match. Yesterday, Manchester City had 1 clear-cut chance. United had how many? Guess what? 4 clear-cut chances. Yes, we set up defensively. Yes, we played on the counter, but this is very, very, very different from the way Oli used to play. Big man team, we would have been leaking midfield-wise with Oli. Yesterday, we restricted Kevin De Bruyne, and we restricted, what's his name? Their number, Bernardo Silva, to come in deep to get the ball. No. This is, don't trigger me, bro. Don't trigger me. Joanna says, we said it. Oli was doing it. I don't know what that means.
No, that was different. I agree with you. That was a different kind of performance from what Oli did.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very different. And I just want
to sort of cut you, but Oli win typically comes off like 4 losses, and then this is like a rally win.
Exactly.
To save his job. This is more of like a consistent. You can see the performance and improvement. Yeah, that was
like, do you know how many times these players saved Oli's job? Oli would lose like 6, 7 games in a row, then Spurs would come, or Tottenham, or City would come, and then he would win, and then he'll be saved for another 2 months.
It's like Emery and Arsenal. It's the same thing. Like the chances against and the way we were having to win games, you could see it wasn't sustainable. It's the same for Ole.
Exactly. Prince said why the issue with City is simple: arrogance. All of the players City offloaded were so integral to how City played. Yes, they were squad players, but they were so important.
I disagree.
I don't think Pep was aggressive enough. My thing is, I think he was right to turn over the squad in some of the players leaving, but I think there were some players that he held on to that wanted to leave and he didn't let them leave. So, for example, Bernardo wanted to go to Barcelona. You should have let him go to Barcelona and you should have brought in another number 8, because now, when was the last time City scored a goal from midfield? Like those guys, Bernardo, Gundogan, they were chipping in with so many goals last year. Now they have everything is about creating chances for a number 9, and they don't have enough threat out wide, because it's easier to deal with a Foden or a Grealish because you know what they're going to do on the ball. Yes, they're great players, tricky players, but you can handle those guys a lot easier than it is to deal with a Sterling and a Hayes with the pace and the trickery. So I just think he tried to change the shape of the team. I think by the end of the season, it's still going to benefit them because, again, it's Pep. A matter of time, it's going to click. But I don't think he was aggressive enough in terms of changing the team.
Quick reaction to Weghorst signing. Okay, I want you to address this in 30 seconds because we still have to talk about Chelsea. What do you think about the Weghorst signing?
Good signing, functional.
Okay, go ahead.
I've not seen Weghorst play, but I think if Ten Hag sees something in him that can help, the same way Ferguson signed Larson, we all knew about Henrik Larson. Even Olisale Igalo, who came in and did a job in the Europa League. You know, there are certain players that, okay, maybe going to come in and do a job. I will say this, that if United can keep, just my last point, if United can keep these 4 players fit between now and the end of the season, Martial, Rashford, Casemiro, and Varane, just those 4 players, if they can stay fit until the end of the season, hopefully that they do, hopefully the whole squad does, hopefully everyone stays fit in all teams, I think that United will have a great chance. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Well, my reaction is this. I think Weghorst, if you're gonna get a short-term solution, that's how to do it. 2.5 million. It's a quick loan deal. There's no commitment to buy. We're not putting him on astronomical wages. This is not Falcao settings. This is not Cavani settings. No. We're bringing him. He's gonna do a job for the next 4 or 5 months, and he's gonna go back to Burnley or Bishop.
But here's the thing.
And I'm cool with that.
I would have kept Cavani. Cavani in this.
I would not, bro. Nah, allow it. Nah.
You would have.
Nah. All right, let's talk about Chelsea, because it's crisis settings over at Stamford Bridge, bro. I know you guys won today.
Crisis is a strong.
No. I know you guys won today, but I mean, but look, if you're gonna have a crisis, though, this is probably the best crisis to have. You know, you're spending 88 million on Modric. You're buying Joao Felix. You know, what it was Potter a mistake, because I remember you wanted Tuchel gone, and now you have Graham Potter. Do you want him? Where are you at with this guy?
So I'm gonna tell you where I'm at with the club. You know what's interesting is every time people look at Chelsea, people say, "Oh, you know, manager." But one thing I did realize, having doing more research, is Chelsea has been in trouble for a while. We've been in trouble for like 5-6 years, right? So you know what's interesting is I'm looking at the league table since Roman took over, right? So Roman took over, I think, when did he take over? 2004, maybe 2004, 2005. He took over. So Roman finished. Roman, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2002 because Ranieri was his first manager, right? 2002.
Yeah, 2002, right? So it's like Chelsea finished first, second, third, first, second. We always bounce between first, second, and then maybe third for the better part of Roman's involvement. And then in 2016, we finished. So Jose Mourinho came back. We finished first. The season after, we finished 10th, and that was the beginning of Chelsea's problem. Ever since then, we've been on a steady decline where we finished 4th, but it was because Arsenal slipped the last day of the season. Spurs lost a game they shouldn't win, and we're switching managers, and then we win an FA Cup and we win a Champions League, and everybody think the problem is over, right? So Chelsea's had a massive problem. We've had a structural problem from the top. We've been a poorly ran club, right?
I think it was 2003. Sorry, go on.
2003, right? So we never addressed underlying issue, right? And the same thing with United, right? United was very good with Fergie. The moment Fergie left, everything fell apart. And you guys kind of, are going through this trying to rebrand yourself, trying to understand yourself, right? So I think that's the issue with Chelsea. What Roman has always done for the club is what you call shock therapy, where if something is not working, rather than for you to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what are the pieces we need to make this organization function well? What it does is two things. We'll fire a manager, bring in a new manager, make one big signing, and hope that will shock the entire team. Mm-hmm. And what that does is, that will get you good for a year or two. But then you always revert back to the issue that you have because you're not rebuilding the team. You're not rebuilding your organization as you should.
So you're saying that cycle has been going on?
That cycle has been going on for a while.
Yes,
since Roman came. But the reason why we got away with it was this. You didn't have a Newcastle. You didn't have a Spurs. You didn't have a Brentford. So you didn't need to be that good.
Brighton,
Yeah, you didn't need to have a very functional organization for you to be that good. City came around and showed us the template of how this should be done. Right? So City, before they got Pep Guardiola, they've been planning for 4 years that they were going to get Pep. Guess what? City know who their manager is going to be in the next 4 to 5 years.
After Pep,
Yes, because that's a well-planned organization, right? So that's the issue with Chelsea. So when Roman left, and what really surprised me, and this is a shocker to me, was when the UK government came for Roman like 3 years ago, I was so surprised by how we didn't have a proper succession planning. Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me you're a Russian oligarch, you've been having issues with the UK government, and you didn't think they were going to seize your club, and all of a sudden they seized the club. None of the board of directors wanted to take over. So you mean to tell me like Roman did not think that maybe one day the Russian government was going to poison him and he might die, and there's no succession planning to say, look, when I die, guess what's going to happen to this club? We did not have one. That's not going to happen at United. That's not going to happen at Liverpool. No other organization would fall under that kind of circumstance. Mm-hmm. But Chelsea did. So I realized, man, this club has been badly run for a while. So
are you saying it wasn't Tuchel? Tuchel was not the problem.
No, Tuchel was not the problem. So then I will now fast forward to Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly is a money guy. He's a private equity guy. He's been successful. I'm partial to financial investors rather than strategic investors because of my background. I feel like Todd Boehly knows what he's doing. The reason why Tuchel got fired, Tuchel did not get fired based on performance. Tuchel got fired because he had some off-the-field issues. And this is what I've been trying to tell a lot of Chelsea fans. Like, Tuchel is just problematic, right? At the end of the day, no matter how good you are, you can't tell your boss to go fuck himself.
You got to fall in line. You
just cannot do that. You have to fall in line. So Tuchel did not do that, and he had to go. Now, the only thing is, I'm not 100% sure that Potter is the right guy. I get so before I used to say, man, he is the right guy. But this project is almost independent of a manager. Like, this project is independent of a manager. You have to get all the pieces in place. Look at Arteta, for example. Arteta was losing 10 games. But you have to sit back and kind of zoom in and say, what are we trying to do here as a club? What is our overarching strategy? Chelsea right now, before when Roman was there, everything was toxic. The boy was toxic. The bus driver was toxic. But we love that toxicity. It's like, shit is not working. Fire the manager. This is not working. Sign a tough signing. Why did we sign Lukaku? So I just put this up right now. We're talking. Chelsea has, out of our top 25 signings that we've made, only 4 has been productive, and that is Didier Drogba, Diego Costa, Michael Essien, and N'Golo Kante. There were another 4 that I highlighted. They were like, it's not a bust, but it might come out good. Kai Havertz, Jorginho, Ben Chilwell, and Kovacic. 8 signing out of 25 since this club, since Roman took over. Could we say, man, out of our top 25 signing, like stuff that we spend money on, that we can say, okay, it's been okay. We signed Morata. We signed
what about Hazard?
Oh, wait. Hazard, we didn't pay a lot of money for Hazard, actually.
Hazard was like 30 million.
Yes, Hazard was not even our top 25 signings.
Check.
Yes, those were not our top 25
signings.
But
the thing is that at the time they were. That's the thing. So you're judging it based on now, right? But when Hazard signed in 2012, was it?
It's a big signing.
It was a big signing. No, I do agree with you. But this is not inflation adjusted. What I'm just trying to say is that we spent a lot of money, but we're not getting the return on our investment. And the reason is because every season, one season we say, you know what? Oh, this player is looking good. Let's go buy him. Another season, like someone probably, maybe Roman. I think what probably happened with Roman is Roman is just chilling, doing oligarch shit on his yard. Just make a call like, I'm watching the Champions League. This player looks good. Let's go sign him. That's how we're making decisions.
But Dada, Don't you think that's how y'all still making decisions? Because Modric, bruv, Modric was talking to Arteta and them, man, 3 days ago. Today he's holding up a Chelsea shirt. Like
two clubs can simultaneously scout a player, though. But two clubs can simultaneously scout a player. If you look at it, though, the universe of really good players is a handful. So more than likely, you're gonna have a situation where 2 or 3 players are looking for looking at a player. Now, that being said, do we have a robust scouting system like Arsenal, Liverpool, and City? I don't think so, because these guys are still learning. Like we're literally rebuilding. Like now, we actually have a board. Chelsea did not have a board on the run.
I mean, Todd Boehly was your sporting director until about 2 weeks ago.
Yes, but he had to play that role, though.
Yeah. That's what I was agreeing with you that you guys are literally rebuilding everything.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's like this is a new Chelsea. It's gonna be painful, right? These PE guys don't invest money without an exit plan. I know what his exit plan is. I know why they're making all the signings. In the next 6 years, right? They're gonna flip this club for a higher profit. That's what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But right now they're trying to maximize. Bro, Roman has so much money, bro. He didn't even care if a signing did not work. You can't do that like for 10, 15 years. It's just not. That's not how you run an organization.
So I guess that my question to you is this: how long before you lose the patience?
Lose patience in what, though?
In the football, because you're a fan. You want trophies. You want to win games, or you don't care about that.
No. I'm not saying I do not care. I do very much care. What I'm saying is this: like for this season, I've already accepted my fate. I don't think we're going to finish top 4.
Okay.
Right.
Top 6.
So what?
Top 6?
Maybe not. And that's fine. Like I think we'll finish 8. I think the Chelsea that you see next season is going to be more strategic, more defined. You're going to have a proper team, right? Rather than this whole stopgap that we've been doing for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a proper team to where we're actually going to build on something. So I think like I'll make my assessments at the end of next season on where this club is going.
Let me take some comments. Steven, I want you to talk on this issue a little bit before we go. But let me take some quick comments real quick. They did not buy Felix. He was on loan with no option to buy, which is ridiculous. You're right. They didn't buy Felix.
How's that ridiculous? You have to pay for an option. We don't want to pay for an option.
Yeah, I mean, look, and if it works, I think Atletico will be happy to sell him completely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because Atletico is trying to get rid of him anyway. The owner was on Twitter today, but he was listening to the fans. They told him to go and get Enzo and Rice. I believe more signings to come.
Yeah, we need midfielders.
Real football managers. Yeah. How about that? How would you expect Roman to know Putin would invade Ukraine to the club being seized? It was an unprecedented move. UK had never done that to any club before.
Yes, but here's the thing. I'm not even talking about invasion. Like, pick any organization. They have a succession planning. Like, hey, fam, man, if the CEO dies, especially, when you're Russian oligarch, your life expectancy ain't that high, bro. You're Russian oligarch, for Christ's sake. Something that happens.
You serve at the pleasure of Putin.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure at some point in time, this guy should have had a plan that, hey, fam, if something happens to me, guess what's going to happen to this $1 billion organization that I own? Right? Yeah. That just seems to make sense.
Yeah. Facebook user, don't compare Arteta to Potter. We have different problems. Facebook user again, Hazard was a big signing then. Arsenal wanted him, but went for Jorginho. I remember that. Also, while praising the current City model is justified, they also got a lot wrong before Pep came on board. Even after Pep came in, they still wasted a lot of money on some dud buys before finally generating a sustainable model through sketchy financial manipulations, which they were found guilty of.
How many dud buys does City have, please?
Danilo was dead. Benjamin Mendy is dead. They had this. You can say Nicolas Ake. I don't know.
My turn. Chelsea has Babayako. Bashuayi.
Martin.
Lukaku. First and second.
Lukaku twice. Who else we got? Shevchenko.
Baba Rahman.
Falcao.
Fernando Torres. Timo Werner. Bro, this is a massive signings that did not work.
Like
Kepa. Fact.
Come on,
that
fam.
is true. That is
Come
true.
off it.
Stephen, outside of looking in, do you think Chelsea have to go through, because you and I, and okay, we're fans of clubs where we're either going through a real genuine rebuilding, or we're in the process of completing that rebuilding process.
I think
when do you think Chelsea fans will lose it? Because
they're gonna lose it in December next year if they're still struggling. But I think it's what they're doing is not as mad as people are making it out to be. So as someone, me, I like to look at players, etc. The players they are signing, it terrifies me.
Me too.
Because they're now signing some of the best young players in the world. They're all under 22, 23.
Yep.
They have one of the best academies in the country, which everybody seems to forget about, which gives them saleable assets to offset all of this crazy spending. If they sell Conor Gallagher, they're getting 20 million. They decide they're going to sell.
They're getting way more than 20 million.
No, I'm giving you a low fee.
I hear you.
That's pure profit.
Yeah.
They sell Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're getting 15, 20 million. They got all these players that they can move between now and the summer to offset all of this crazy spending. And
actually, I've never thought about that. That makes sense.
Everybody says, they spent 100 million on Mudryk. Mudryk, they're paying 60 million in 2 installments. The reason they got the deal versus Arsenal wanted to pay it in 5. That's the deal.
Arsenal wanted layaway.
That's how all of these clubs do business. So Arsenal were like, there's 60 million. We're going to pay it, but we're going to pay it in 5 payments. That's how these deals get done. So Chelsea came in, we're going to give you the same 60 mil, but we're going to pay it in 2. That's the same way they're paying for Fofana. So we're talking about jokes and Arsenal, like layaway. Chelsea have signed all of these guys for these crazy amounts of money on layaway. It's 4 or 5 years they're paying these deals off. That's how they're getting around FFP. So they probably only spent about 150 million in the year that we're talking about, and the rest of it is there to come. And they've got all of these saleable assets that they can then offset this with. In addition, Kante's contract's up. That's a big earner out the door. Jorginho's contract's up. Another big earner out the door. Aspie's contract up. Another big earner out the door. So Chelsea are fine. If they just get to the summer, I think Potter has to get into at least the top 8, because I think they're not going to accept being out of Europe completely. Yeah. So I think he's got to at least get into Europe, whether it be the Europa League or whatever. He's got to do something in that sense. I think that buys him the summer, and then he gets this young team, and then he's going to have until December to show progress. And I think because it's a young team, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be like Arsenal. They're going to lose games, they're going to win games, they're going to go on runs, etc. But they're going to be okay with that if it shows progress. Yeah. That's what's going to happen to Potter. If they fire him between now and the end of the season, if the only way that happens is if Chelsea end up in like 14th, 15th, and they got no hope of Europe at all.
So I have one last question on this issue, and we're running long on this pod. We need to end it soon. What shoot out, just quick fire, names of players you want to see Chelsea cut ties with on a permanent basis between now and the end of the
Kante, Jorginho, maybe Koulibaly for the wrong reasons, but I'm not a big fan of just taking huge losses on players right away. Kante, Jorginho, Pulisic, CH.
So hold on. Kante, Jorginho, Pulisic, Koulibaly. Okay.
Yeah, CH. Aubameyang, of course. Move Aubameyang to the top of the list.
Okay.
How many is that? 6?
Yeah, that's 6.
Mendy.
7.
Azpilicueta.
Okay, Azpilicueta. Okay. 8.
Is that good enough? I feel like I'm missing some people.
Mendy. Wow.
Mendy, yeah. I mentioned Mendy already. So what?
Both goalkeepers should be going.
Yeah, Mendy for sure. Put Mendy twice. So that we don't forget. Yeah, you heard me? I said what I said.
You move Kepa before you move Mendy, in my opinion, but both of the goalkeepers should be going.
So 9. Okay, I think that's good enough.
Okay. That's a lot.
Kovacic.
Oh, Kovacic too?
Yeah,
yeah.
I would keep Kovacic.
I would keep
Okay, maybe I'll keep him to come off the bench.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a lot. Let's take a few more comments before we end the stream. If things do not go right, I can't wait for the big saga. Okay, I think this guy's talking about the Chelsea situation. Arsenal lent on Pepe. I beg, we don't want the game. Steven, I think they are accepting the fact that he might not make the Europe. That's why they are buying now. This is the best.
I always disagree with this theory.
No, that makes sense.
I always disagree with this theory. I think people overestimate how much players want to play in Europe. I think that most players are like they'll pick organize. I mean, United was signing top players even
in the Europa League. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between United and Arsenal though, and Chelsea in this situation that we're in. Chelsea, United, City, these teams, they can attract players regardless of the situation because they know that it's only a matter of time before they go back to where they're supposed to be because of how they spend.
Yeah.
Arsenal can do it with young players. Like Arsenal can convince a guy that's 22, 23 to give up Champions League football to come and play. They're not getting a guy that's 26, 27 to give up Champions League.
That's a fair point. I agree with that point.
Yeah. All right, guys, we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank you, OK, for joining us. Bro, Arsenal fans did not like you today.
I'll speak to Ayo. I'll be back on a few times in the season.
No.
I'll wind up even more.
You should be here next week.
You might say you should be here next week.
I'll speak to Ayo coming on next week.
Hey, yo, Steven, man, appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you for your insights. Absolutely. Dada, always good having you, man.
Likewise, man. Good discussion, y'all.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the participation. Again, we're out here on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we are on Twitter as well. Footy Fantasy on YouTube and on Twitter. On Instagram, we have Fantasy Footy. And on that note, we are out. Prince White, thank you for the comments. Thank you for all I had an owner. City had a good number of defense of expensive duds. Pep, Mangala, Bonnie, Otamendi, Bravo, Nolito, Mendy, Angelino, and I hear that. I think Ola has a hate relationship with Manchester City.
Of course,
as a Liverpool fan. But anyway, guys, we are out of here. See you next time.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
See ya.